Hello there folks and welcome to the launch event of the new Shure ecosystem. This presentation has been held right across Europe, in fact the globe today, but here in the UK you'll be hearing from me. My name is James Hill and I'm the Director for Sales for the Integrated Systems Division of Shure UK. I'm also joined by Andrew.
Hi everybody, yes, I'm Andrew Francis and I am the Manager for Applications Engineering at Shure here in the UK.
Hello Andrew.
Hi, we've met before, right?
We have, yeah. Your face definitely seems a bit familiar.
Good.
So what we're going to talk about today, obviously we've just done our welcome overview. We're going to touch on what the Shure portfolio update is going to look like. And then we're going to do a little bit go into the more intricacies of the ecosystems we've got. We've got the STEM ecosystem. We've got the Shure Microflex ecosystem, and bear with me because this will make sense very shortly. We're then going to do a brief comparison on both ecosystems and then talk about the Shure Audio Institute, which most of you know about, but it's where we can go and get trained to make sure that these products have been installed correctly. And then finally, we'll move on to a live Q&A session where hopefully you can throw some questions at us, and if I can't answer them, which I won't be able to, Andrew will.
I'll certainly try.
So yeah, keep your questions coming. So a bit of background just to set the scene. You may well have heard back in tail end of 2020 that Shure acquired a company from California called STEM Audio. STEM Audio are very similar to Shure in the fact that they manufacture very, very good networked audio products. And it's a really good fit for us because they don't compete with us in the same kind of rooms, but together we're stronger. It gives us a much more wider wider portfolio, really,
yeah.
It's fair to say. So as a result of that integration strategy, we've spent the last 6 months trying to work out how we can bring this to market, how we align both ecosystems, and that's what we're going to present to you today. So what we've done, we've got two clear, different ecosystems now. We've got the STEM ecosystem, which is effortless, which is very, very simple to install. It's all over Cat6 cables.
It's pretty much plug and play.
It is. Yeah. And then we've also got what is now called the Shure Microflex ecosystem. And that is basically the Shure audio ecosystem that we've been talking to you lot about for the last 18 months. It's got all that good stuff in the MXA 910, 710, 310, P300, IMX room, ceiling speakers, that complete audio chain that we you know and love so well. And it works so really well in those more sophisticated spaces.
And now, with our announcement today, we're adding our Microflex wireless portfolio to the ecosystem too.
There you go. So, some background, why today? Well, it's June the 1st is the start of the Shure fiscal year, and so it made sense for us to do it at this time. We've also got ISE Live in Barcelona happening. We've also got ISE in London, where we'll all be in a couple of weeks as well. And so it seems a good time to tell the Shure system story, to create awareness with everyone, our customers, our channel, everyone else, to set the scene for the rest of the year. And this is our big thing for this new fiscal year. So first things first, this is how we're marketing it. This is what it's going to look like when you see it in print. And it's similar but distinct because they are both Shure ecosystems. But you'll see the STEM ecosystem on the left-hand side. It's more of I think a tech startup vibe is what it reminds me of, a smaller company, a cooler company.
Yeah, I think maybe if you're a company that's got 1 or 2 meeting rooms that you need technology for, it would fit in well.
Yep. And on the right-hand side, you've got the more traditional Microflex ecosystem, which is your more corporate, your high-end, your more sophisticated boardroom, event spaces, voice lift rooms, etc., etc. Over to you, Andrew.
Thanks, James. Let me run you through quickly now the value propositions and overall benefits of having this extended portfolio of 2 ecosystems. So Shure products let you hear and speak freely, whether you're in the boardroom or the classroom or any other room, in fact, where we've got our conferencing products, which gives for very high, free-flowing collaborative meetings without the barrier of awkward technology. So we've got the one-stop solutions for all the audio needs, as we say, from any room, from a 2-person huddle room right up to a 24-person boardroom, or even larger for the technology in meeting rooms and flexible spaces. So Shure, as a leading audio brand, have been leading a technological leadership, really, in audio products, in high-quality acoustics, wireless DSP software. Not many people know, but the Shure DSP software really goes back into the 90s with the automatic mixing. So it's not a new thing for us at all. But what is a bit newer for us is working closely with the audio video conferencing vendors to make sure that our hardware is highly compatible with the system. So when you connect our audio systems over USB to the conferencing platforms, you're guaranteed to get a good sounding system. And hopefully not many of you really need to call upon this, but we do have award-winning global support. So should something go wrong, we're here to make it right for you as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
From the channel partner point of view, what this does is expand your ability to sell more products into more rooms, because now with the previous only Shure Microflex ecosystem, we were finding that our products were too high-end for the more common areas of the room.
Yeah,
so
those at-scale huddle rooms.
The at-scale huddle rooms, yeah. And now the benefit of bringing in the Shure STEM ecosystem is that we can fit those rooms out as well, which brings efficient deployment because you can buy all your products from one channel partner and one brand, which equally gives you, lots of convenience. It's one point of contact for the whole project.
And I think what's interesting is, although they are two separate ecosystems, they're not mutually exclusive.
No, not at all.
You will find enterprises and companies that have MXA stuff in their bigger rooms and then roll out some STEM stuff in their smaller rooms. So it will work. It just means that you've got one place you can get good audio from.
More choice. So if we look at the benefits of choosing a Shure ecosystem from the IT decision maker's point of view, the story that we're telling here is that all our products are ready for whichever collaboration platform you choose to use. And any that will come out in the future as well. We're working very closely with all the vendors to make sure that the compatibility is there. And what really we're looking for is standardization across meeting rooms, which means that anybody in any meeting room across your company will get the same experience.
Yeah.
You don't want to have people on one side of the planet having a poor audio experience with people on the other side with a good audio experience, because ultimately, if one side is poor, it's all poor.
And that goes back to the Every Voice Matters campaign.
Correct.
Right? So.
Absolutely. And we can give you peace of mind in your choice of products from the Shure ecosystem, because we offer the only Dante-enabled encryption between a transmitter and a receiver on the Dante network. We can do that in conjunction with working with Dante Domain Manager, which means you can have audit trails over who's making changes to your network and even block it from happening in the first place, which means that you can still take this data off the network and do remote monitoring too. So you can see upstream of any problems happening, that you've got a meeting room down, send a technician in there, fix it, and then you can carry on and have as minimal downtime as possible.
So just for clarity, Shure have got the only ecosystem where you've got complete end-to-end encryption.
This is correct, yes.
Love that.
Which makes us the most trusted audio brand that you can choose your conferencing products for.
Excellent. The portfolio positioning and differentiation, where do they sit? So the Shure STEM ecosystem is a series of network devices, you see here, including a wall microphone, table microphone, ceiling microphone, and also loudspeakers and dedicated control and access points. They can be mixed and matched in any combination. They will just work. It's advanced technology made simple. As Andrew spoke about earlier, it's very much a plug-and-play system that just works. And not only that, it really plays well with other brands as well.
The Shure Microflex ecosystem, by contrast, is also fully networkable, Dante-enabled between the products, which gives the best-in-class technology for beamforming array pickups, multi-lobes per device, automatic mixing, and all the other good DSP algorithms that we've been putting in the products over the last 5 years, which gives us a choice for every room, which gives you endless flexibility and full configuration. So you can really get down as an audio engineer into the nitty-gritty of how these systems sound, more so than the STEM ecosystem. And again, we're working very hard with the video conferencing platforms to make sure that the products are certified and secure in their use with other third-party vendors. Let me take a minute now just to give you a quick overview of the high-level details of what makes up the Microflex ecosystem. As we've said, best-in-class technology, giving you that precision engineering of audio pickup from all the devices, voiced to make sure that human voices are the most intelligible that they can be in every room. Endlessly flexible and configurable, so you could have 2 table arrays in one room, you could have a ceiling array in another, you could have a wall and a ceiling array in a third, and so on and so forth. You can really mix and match and choose the best product for your environment.
And of course, we can have MXW in that now as well, as that joins the system, as you mentioned earlier.
Now get wireless mics as well. If you're working in a situation where you cannot permanently install something, or the furniture doesn't allow for it, or actually you're in a bit more of a town hall meeting room where you do want handheld mics to give out to an audience and have a body pack and a lavalier mic for a presenter, you can use the Microflex wireless products along with the P300 DSP processing for echo cancellation, automatic mixing, and the like. And you will see a lot of these come up regularly throughout the presentation. The wireless is encrypted, the Dante networking is encrypted, the products can be managed by system-on asset management for visibility of what the technology is doing on your estate. Now that Microflex Wireless is within the Microflex ecosystem, we've changed the way that we interface with it from a user point of view. And what I mean there is how the technicians set it up, really. Prior to December in 2020, we were using the Flash UI hosted upon the access point. But now that Flash is no longer supported, we've had to move away from that, and we've developed a dedicated control app, which looks very similar to the other products within Designer. So it's really bringing the product set together from a visual standpoint in its setup and how the technicians interface with it too.
Okay. And so the STEM ecosystem. Well, before Shure got involved with STEM, the guys over there were doing some really good market research into what users really wanted out of the system. And STEM realised pretty early on, you cannot be all things to all men. So went to the market to try and find out what problems were already in the market and how users wanted to use their system. And the stuff that came back was pretty interesting. Some you think might be obvious, but some is certainly not. One of the things we found it was really interesting was that people didn't really want to use personal devices for control. And this led to STEM introducing their own controller, which you can see here, which is just preferred over anything else, and it's one piece of equipment that people use.
It's standard. It's just one common thing.
Yeah. It does make it easy. People are used to using their phones and iPads or whatever, but for a room audio system, they want one controller that sits on the table and they can work with that.
You need the one thing to do the one job well.
One thing for one job, correct. The other thing that I looked about was maintenance and remote manageability. So people wanted to know when things were going to be maintained, when schedules were going to happen, so that you wouldn't go into a room and suddenly it wasn't working. For a remote access was important with web-based stuff and a neutral operating system as well. That was really important. They wanted flexible AV design, which again makes total sense. Not every room is the same. You do get many meeting rooms that people talk about cookie cutters, but essentially they're not. They're used by different people for different things. So you need to really get under the hood of what you want to use that room for. And that goes into the room design and aesthetics as well to make sure devices are placed in the right place. And finally, good connections. STEM understood that a lot of people that are using their equipment, they're your traditional IT people. So they want standard IT connections, whether it be just a Cat6 or HDMI or USB, and bring your own device support as well. So, and finally, obviously, Dante for audio networking. They also identified that there was some common pain points, and it was 6 that they really identified. One of them being room design. People are not getting consistent room designs, which makes it challenging when you're trying to roll out kits and roll out installations, which moves you onto installations and difficulties with cabling and how to get to different things. So that was another problem they saw early. And once the install's done, who's testing it? How is it being tested? Is it being tested in a regular way, coherent way, so that you know that you've got the same output from every meeting room?
Yeah, I mean, one problem we do see with testing is it's entirely subjective.
Well, it's completely subjective, isn't it? What sounds great to one person may not be right for the person that's using the room.
Put some tools in to try and actually give some visual representation of, yes, it is performing to the level we would expect.
Exactly. Customization. For me, this goes back to the room design. People want to customize a room to make it work for the way they want to use that room. So you need to, while it's great to just roll stuff out, you do need to customize certain bits of equipment to make sure it works properly. Also, management. We know traditionally that so much time is lost in meetings from stuff not working. You walk into a meeting room and stuff's been unplugged, it's been moved around, it's not set up properly. Or worse still, people are scared of the technology. That's the biggest concern they have. So managing that estate of audio equipment is really important. And talking of people being scared, the biggest one for me here is the user adoption. It's great having really good audio products in your meeting room, but if people are scared to use them, they may as well not have anything at all. So it's got to be usable, which goes back to the fact that one controller on the table really does work. So all of that research led to a vision, and they summed it up in one pretty neat paragraph, really, and that was to create an audio ecosystem made up of building blocks using specialized audio endpoints that seemingly just work with each other and integrate intuitively into a powerful user interface. And I think despite all the waffle I've just said, that probably just sums it up in one
It
paragraph.
does, it works very well, yeah.
So, what is the STEM ecosystem? What's it made up of? Well, the three things we keep talking about is flexible audio that just works, it plays nicely with others, and it's advanced technology made really simple. You can see some images on the screen there. We've also got them here in front of us. This is the wall, we've got the table, we've got the hub, and we've got the controller as well. So all look pretty cool as well, I think.
Yeah, the two that are missing are the ceiling mic and the loudspeaker.
Of course, yeah.
But our table wasn't big enough to have them all.
The other beautiful thing is about the STEM stuff is that we can just mix and match it. Because we've got the hub and control, it doesn't matter if we've got wall speakers, table arrays, wall mounted, under screen mounted speakers. We can mix and match as much as we want. And as long as we've got this, it will all just work together. And what's best of all is you can just connect to any of your favorite chosen soft codec with just a USB, and it will work.
Yep. Yeah, all the hard job of mixing or choosing the correct microphone for any given talker is taken care of by the system itself, and it's just presented on that one USB cable.
Just easy.
Yep.
Simple audio that just works.
Yep. Let's take a little look at the 6 steps that you're going to go through when setting up a STEM ecosystem, just in kind of high-level brief. So the first thing when you're planning any room is to design the space and the technology that you're going to need to make it work and do the function that you're hoping to. So there is a design tool hosted on the STEM ecosystem website to do that planning offline, but you can also do that once you've got the products in the room and all powered up from the control unit or from a laptop.
But if you've not got access to a laptop and you're on site, you're telling me we can just design completely from that room.
Correct.
Device.
Yep, you can go into the setup steps. It's very click through, step by step.
Okay.
Do this, then this, then this, and your system will be up and running. So you've designed your room, you've got your products, you're going to install them with the Cat5 cabling back to a centralized PoE switch, and you're going to have, at the end of it, one USB cable that connects into the codec PC. The next thing to do is assigning the devices and organizing them into rooms. So you can do from one room and one controller, you can assign all the devices on the network to their relevant locations.
So once you've installed this and everything's plugged in, you tell me the controller is straight away going to see and recognize those devices.
Everything on the network.
Perfect.
Yep. So you can arrange and organize those. Then you can do this very clever room adapt feature. So once they're installed, you can run the room adapt. The systems will play out some test tones, do some analysis of the space, and then configure themselves to overcome any acoustic challenges that there might be.
Is that similar to the It Just Works button on the MXA range as well?
Yep, it is a similar process to the optimize button.
Excellent.
Yes. Once the system has done its adapt process, you can look at the check room coverage. So this will give you that realistic, the room has been analyzed by the products in the room, and you will see a heat map of where the people sitting will be picked up well in the green area. Yellow is on the brink, and red is, probably don't sit here.
Okay.
When all your rooms have gone through the configuration process, they've all been adapted and checked, they will pop up in the management section of the STEM controller, or a laptop on the network, and you can see the performance of all the devices.
So, I know every room is different, but ballpark, how long do you think it would take to set up a small room?
5 to 10 minutes.
Excellent, we've got that, we can do that.
Yeah. So what this means for you as a channel partner is, again, a recap of what we've been saying earlier. You can expand your reach of technology from the big boardrooms and the big multi-spaces right down into those small huddle rooms, which gives you the efficient deployment and the convenience of buying all the products from one channel partner. For the IT director and the technology manager, you can guarantee that your investment is going into higher quality collaboration experiences, which keeps the audio systems as simple as they possibly can be for the roomers to drive adoption, because as James, you rightly said before, it's no good investing in technology if people are afraid to use it. And it gives you the peace of mind that you're buying technology from Shure, the leading global manufacturer in these products.
And it just works.
And it just works.
Okay, so that's the STEM portfolio. Essentially, what you see on the screen in front of us here is what it is. But let's just take a little bit more of a detailed overview and a look at what each piece of equipment does.
Excellent.
So first of all, we've got the stem ceiling array. I think the thing to point out importantly is Shure is well known for its MXA 910. This is not a replacement, a substitute, or an alternative to an MXA 910.
No.
It's a different microphone for a different environment. Saying that, it's a very good product. It's a directional microphone array with adjustable beams and audio fencing. Built-in signal processing, as has the rest of the stem range, and dual mounting options. You can either mount it in a ceiling, as you would with a traditional 910, or you can just suspend it from the roof.
Yeah, they call this the chandelier mounting. I quite like it.
I quite like the chandelier mounting.
So some of the finer details that you'll find with the stem ceiling microphone array, it's got 100 built-in microphones which are all processed together to give these directional beams. There are some LEDs on the board, so if you want to, you can casually look up at the ceiling and see that the LED is actually pointing in your direction, which you can turn off if you don't like it. From a configuration point of view, you can select 3 options for your beam: wide, medium, narrow. And if you're choosing the narrow beam, you can also apply some audio fencing technology to that too.
Just explain what audio fencing is for people who...
Okay, so we can see on the graphic here, we've got the green areas, which show areas of good pickup. We've got the gray areas, which is basically null pickup. So what the microphone is doing is picking up areas in the gray and reducing them from the areas in the green as a little bit of like echo cancellation, noise reduction technology going on to make sure that if you're in a very highly reverberant room, you're narrowing down the pickup to a very small area. And equally, if you've got kind of a noisy area, a coffee machine or something like that, you can try and minimize pickup of unwanted sound using the audio fencing. For the installation, you've got 2 options: the chandelier mode hanging down from the centralized point, and you've got the low profile mounting where you can recess it into a ceiling tile. Connectivity is via Ethernet PoE+, and if you don't want to be using any of the control devices or the hub, you can just take a long USB cable from the mic direct into your laptop.
Okay. Next up, we've got the stem wall mount array speakerphone. Again, it's just got built-in signal processing. No external speakers are required. It's got its own subwoofer and speakers on board. It's another directional microphone array, complete with a camera mounting adapter so that you can put your camera of choice onto the unit, and you've got a complete one-in-unit for all audio-visual.
Right, some of the specifics then. We've got 15 built-in microphones now to give us this directional array. Again, it has LED lights to highlight whereabouts in the room the audio is currently being picked up from. It's quite fun to watch. If 2 of you are on either side of the table, the LED goes over there when you're talking and it goes over there when the other person's talking. If you don't like that, you can turn it off, no problem at all. It has the same built-in DSP for echo cancellation, gain control, noise cancellation, and de-reverberation. And now, because this is something that you can physically get close to, we've got some control buttons on the side. We've got volume up, down, and mute for the far side.
Excellent. So it can sit underneath the screen, it can be mounted on a cadenza in a room, etc.
Yep.
But I think that's a great touch. You can just avoid touch volumes on the side, etc. Because you know, for the people who aren't technically minded as others, it's just a very simple traditional way to
also highlights the point that you don't need a control unit. You've got all the fundamentals right on the device here.
And then we've got the stem table, which is this piece of equipment here.
Yep.
Another directional microphone array, another microphone and speaker separation, which is internal, obviously. Again, signal processing is built in and on board. And what's great about this is just direct USB connectivity. It's literally plug it in and it will work, and suddenly you're part of a meeting with good audio. It couldn't be more simple.
Yeah, it presents itself as an echo cancelling speakerphone to the PC, and therefore the PC will automatically route all its audio to it.
Yeah.
9 beam-forming microphones this time, LEDs again, so you can see who's talking from which area of the room. The loudspeakers are down-facing, which means we're using the table to spread out the audio from the loudspeakers as wide as we possibly can. Same built-in DSP for echo cancellation, gain control, noise cancellation, and de-reverberation. Same 3 buttons, volume up, down, and mute. Installation, well, you put it on the table.
Yeah. Or on the desk. I mean, I use one of these at home at the moment. It's really good just to get a clear sound at home as well. So it couldn't be simpler.
Nope.
The stem speaker, it's a network loudspeaker. 3 mounting options: in the ceiling, on a wall, or on a table stand. The table stand looks really good, by the way, in my opinion anyway.
Yeah, I like it.
Once again, it's the same as the wall. It's got on-device controls, so very easy to control volume, etc. And it will play anything, any audio, any tunes, any source from your PC, just literally plug it in and it will work.
Yep, LED lights to indicate device status. We have volume up and down on the speaker as well, which is quite nice. I think that's quite unique. I don't recall seeing another pro-grade speaker with a direct onboard volume control.
Not so handy if it's in the ceiling, but on the table it works.
On the table or the walls, perfect, yeah. Installation, there's no USB on this one. It's just one Cat5 PoE, that's it. This is where things get interesting,
Yeah, this is the cool stuff. So this is the STEM hub. And this is when when I spoke about earlier, we can mix and match STEM products across a room or across a series of rooms. This is where STEM hub is required, because what it does is connects all these devices together. It brings the whole ecosystem together, enabling it to work and all these endpoints to communicate and talk to each other as they should do. So it's multi-device processing. It's a single audio channel out. And the connectivity is, it's really, you can connect it any way you want, whether it be Ethernet, USB, SIP, or even the time-honored terminal block. And also there's an interface for Dante audio networking as well to make sure it's a fully networked device. It's a really nice piece of kit that complements the portfolio and pulls it all together.
Yes, so if you are looking to deploy a room which requires more than one of the microphone products, you will need the STEM hub. The STEM hub is the centralized control point, which gives you up to 10 endpoints. That's the limit of the ecosystem, 10 devices, but that could be 4 ceiling arrays and 6 loudspeakers. So it's still a big room with 10 devices that you can put in here. For powering it, you're going to need your Ethernet PoE+. You do have the terminal block for regular output into a power amplifier if you're not using the STEM speakers. This will become the USB connector for your soft codec PC. So if you're using the hub, you will not be using the USB connector on the microphone loudspeaker devices. You can use it as a 1x1 Dante interface, so we can take audio out of the ecosystem on a one-channel mixed out audio feed, which is the same as is presented to the USB connector. And we can use Dante in for bringing in background music or fire alarm evacuation stuff as well if you need to. And if you're interfacing with a VoIP or SIP system, that is done from the control device too. In terms of installation, it's wall mountable, ceiling mountable. You can hide it on the desk. It doesn't need to be visible. It just needs to be on the network.
Yeah, I think we need to clarify it doesn't need line of sight.
No,
so
not at all.
It's more of a traditional WAP.
Yeah, you can hide it behind a screen, under a desk, in the ceiling, put it on the wall, wherever you like.
Cool. And finally, we've got the controller that we've already talked about. And again, I really like this. I don't think people want to bring their own device to control a meeting room. It's just one-touch conferencing. It integrates with all the leading collaboration platforms, whichever one you choose, it will work with. And it's just the perfect way to pull that whole ecosystem together and control it from the design stage right through to the management and remote management and everything else that you need to do post-installation.
Right. Again, this doesn't have any connectivity to the computer because it's designed to live on the desk and it's where the people in the room will control the system. But it is also used as the commissioning tool, which I think is a really smart idea. So you can put it on the room, you can go into it, you can commission your room from this, set it up, walk away.
Again, it just negates the need for a laptop. So it's just...
It acts as the input for video conferencing. It can become your SIP dialer. It's the administrative tools for doing the room adapt. So if somebody's made some change to the room, maybe you've had a furniture layout change, the microphones aren't in quite the position you left them in, you can go in there, hit room adapt, the system will do its collaboration, and then off you go, ready again.
And we can lock it down as well, so people can't tamper with this once it's been set up.
There's all the regular admin access rights that you would expect to see. And it is where you can log into the screen and see some usage statistics and reports about what's the uptime of devices, how long have they been on the network, have any fallen off, that kind of thing. Connectivity-wise, PoE+, and we've got the two options here. You can have it in the slightly sharper 45-degree angle, or if you prefer, you can lay it down and give you that more 60-degree angle. Auto-switching, the screen will just flip up and down, regardless of where you put it. Okay, let's have a little closer look at some of the platform tools that are offered by the STEM control element of the ecosystem. You can access any of these tools from any of the devices on the network from your laptop just by its IP address, or as said before, you can access it from the control touchscreen. First is going to be designing before you buy. So this tool that you see now is available on the website, and it is exactly the same tool that you can use on the screen, which gives you that continuation of flow and familiarity of the ecosystem. So here we can design our space by drawing in the walls and giving them their geometric orientation. You can draw in some tables, so if you're using circular or square or rectangular tables, you can scale them up, you can add chairs, you can take them away. And then you can place your devices in that floor plan. So once you've got your room designed, you can then go and install these products in the room, close to the floor plan, we would hope.
Yep.
And then once they're installed, you can use the room adapt feature, which plays out some test tones and does some room analysis and configures the devices for the best performing choice.
The optimization button.
The optimization button. There is no kind of engineering level, I want to change this specific frequency in the EQ. It's all taken care of you by the frequency sweeps. Having done that, you will get the room check readout, which shows that the verified coverage meets the expectation from the design phase, which is really important. So you might see instances where you thought you had enough equipment, but there was in this view here, you've got the red corner dead zones. That's fine. You just wouldn't want your lecturer to wander off into those corners of the room and expect to be heard to the same level.
So I guess if you've got a good acoustic room, you might have, I don't know, a large picture on the wall with a glass front. So you might find something that's a bit more reverberant.
Yep.
And this will pick that up.
The heat map will show you this. Yes. So if, for example, your example on the top there was a big reverberant wall, that might show itself as a red area.
Good stuff.
Once all the products are up and on the network, you can remotely monitor the ecosystem from the control interface or from a laptop on the network. And here we can see usage, uptime, event logs, and call logs if you're using the SIP dialer. This really gives you some indication of if anything is going wrong before a meeting is interrupted as well. So you might have an on-site engineer whose first job of the day is just to check the remote management tool and see if everything is working all right. And one thing I think is really interesting as well is you can remote schedule power downs and power cycles, and you can remote schedule the room adapt.
So your whole estate is running on a more proactive method, really, rather than just reacting to rooms going down.
Yeah, so you could have a schedule of the room adapt to happen at 4 a.m. every day.
Just to give you a final overview then, so Shure solutions really do allow you to speak freely and be heard, whatever kind of room you're in, whether it's the boardroom, a classroom, a huddle room, or a multi-purpose space. We've now got the tools to enable you to have good conversations and work well. They're straightforward solutions from plug and play from the STEM stuff right up to the more technical, more complex Microflex ecosystems that you know and love us for. We've got the Microflex ecosystem, it's best in class. We've got a solution for every room. Endless, flexible and fully configurable and fully certified and secure as well. Yeah,
I think the addition of the Microflex wireless into this product range really does now make it fully flexible.
It does. I think that was the one thing we're really missing. Although a lot of projects, as we know, combined MXA and the Microflex ecosystem and MXW as well. So it's a natural move really into that portfolio.
Yeah.
And then we've got STEM. And as we keep saying, it's advanced technology made simple. It's flexible audio that just works, plug and play, great platform tools, and it plays nicely. You just plug your USB in and your soft codec will work and your meeting can start. So, which Shure ecosystem is right for you? And before we go into this, I just want to clarify again, there are a lot, I believe, of businesses that will take on board both ecosystems. Yeah. They're not mutually exclusive, but they do different things.
Yeah, I think the biggest differentiator for me is whether you're using a soft codec or a hard codec.
Yes.
If you're using a hard codec, you should be using the Microflex ecosystem. If you're using a soft codec, you could use either, and then the decision comes around what size of room and what size of how many people you're looking to pick up with the microphones. All right, so let's have a look at some key differentiators why you might choose a Microflex system over a STEM ecosystem. We have done a lot of work over the past few years with integrators and consultants so that they can really understand the complexities and the flexibilities of the Microflex system. So working down that path, I think Microflex ecosystem is the way to go.
Okay, but I don't want to work with a consultant. I don't work with an integrator. I'm a self-sufficient IT guy, so I just want to roll out a load of quick rooms and do it easily using my IT knowledge. Yeah. So STEM ecosystem is probably the way forward for me.
Yeah, it works for you, absolutely. And let's say that I'm a top-tier education establishment who's trying to do remote learning, hybrid learning, lecture capture for archive purposes. I think the Microflex ecosystem works perfectly for that.
Okay, and I'm a head teacher of a smaller school or a smaller college, and I'm just doing vocational training and just need smaller rooms. So again, I'm just going to go for the STEM ecosystem.
Yeah, it kind of touches on the core application of what you're using your products for, doesn't it? So if you're doing more complex things over and above AV conferencing, then the Microflex ecosystem definitely gives you the benefit of sound reinforcement, recording, voice lift.
I don't need any of that stuff though. I'm in a much smaller environment. I'm just all I want to do is AV conferencing, so STEM ecosystem may well be the way forward for me.
Yeah, and because of the flexibilities that are offered by products like the MXA 710, if you're looking to design a brand new building and really integrate some of the technology into the ceilings and into the walls, it gives you the benefit of the Microflex ecosystem because there is a bit more choice.
Yeah, definitely. But if you've got a simpler environment, standard rooms, reasonably consistent, you want to roll out scale, no unique challenges, no voice lift requirements, no sound reinforcement necessary really, STEM is probably your way forward.
Yep. And then finally, let's have a look at audio coverage. I think looking at the room adapt and the room configuration tools available from STEM versus some of the things that we've got in Shure Designer, larger spaces typically benefit from the more directionality of lobes from an MXA 910.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think more complex and more sophisticated rooms where you've got a lot to pick up or a lot to tune out, without doubt, sure, the Microflex system is the way.
And then if you're working in a town hall environment where you want a presenter to have a lavalier mic in a more traditional broadcast sense, then obviously Microflex Wireless fits there, and there's no comparative one in the STEM ecosystem.
Correct, yeah.
And finally, I suppose security. If you're working in an environment where you're utilizing Dante Domain Manager and you're looking to put additional encryption on your Dante traffic, then the Microflex ecosystem is the way to go there. Yeah,
and I think it's worth reinforcing that point that Shure are the only people that offer that full end-to-end encryption of the audio signal chain.
Yeah.
So, training and education. Most of you watching this will be aware of the Shure Audio Institute, the SAI. It's where you go to learn everything good about audio and also to get certified for the MXA range. STEM is very much plug and play, so there's no certification required, but you'll be pleased to know that when you're bored on a rainy day, you can go and read some information about it and do a little bit of training. Be warned, it is very basic because it's so simple. In fact, the first video is just an unboxing video.
That was my favorite one.
What was it?
It was my favourite one.
The unboxing experience.
Yeah. You got me well prepared to open that box.
So you know now how to open the STEM box correctly.
It's going to make Christmas so much better.
We're good to go. We're good to go.
Excellent. All the modules are broken down into different aspects, so you can learn about your boxes and the technical breakdown separately. And upon completion, you will get a certificate which is valid for 2 years, and we are currently investigating applying Avixa CTS renewable points to those.
And just to be clear, those points are already available for MXA family training.
Yeah, so it's additional points for the STEM ecosystem training.
Good stuff.
Courses are available in English at the moment with international translations soon to follow.
Excellent. So that concludes today's webinar. So thanks for joining us. We've got quite a few questions that have come in, so we're going to try and start going through those now. But is there anything we've missed, Andrew? Is there anything we need to go over?
I don't think so. Let's see what people have got to say.
I think so. The message I want to leave you with: MXA, good. STEM, good. Both got different applications. STEM, very easy. MX, more complex, but both will give you the audio you want.
Yeah.
So, questions?